It's nice to have a good starting point. We're still striving for something much higher than that, and those are our standards here at the University of Illinois.
This is Illinois basketball.
We prepare for this game like it's national championship.
You know, we're just going to keep improving. I'm not going to put a ceiling on it.
As we've continued, we've set a standard for the way that we're going to play.
This is home for everybody who comes through here. It doesn't matter if you were one of the best to walk through here or if you didn't play much.
Nobody here plays for that, but in the name of the front.
It's not just an ordinary road trip. I'm going to be loose. I'm going to have fun with it. I want this group to go out and, as we've said all year to this point, let it rip.
We didn't get to the Final Four just to get there. We're coming to win 2 more games.
Welcome in for a special Inside the Illini off to Indy as Illinois men's basketball still dancing here in April.
It's been quite this season and plenty of different storylines to get to. We're going to focus on some of the biggest moments that have happened all the way from the season tip-off in November through now in April, getting set to try and make a run at a national championship. We're going to also take a look at some of the most fun storylines. We've looked at it all season long, how this group is so well connected, and we're also going to have a chance to chat with Jeremy Werner of the Illini Inquirer, one of the best analysts when it comes to Illini athletics.
That's right.
Plus, here in the studio, Mark Tupper stops by twice. We're looking back at the 2005 Final Four team and talking that matchup with UConn. Adina, Jake, take it away.
That's right. We start with Wednesday afternoon, Illinois men's basketball team getting a warm send-off to Indy from Champaign as fans lined up in parking lot for the send-off. You see buses. Kylan Boswell, Josh Whitman, and Brad Underwood all took to the mic to welcome fans to the arena for the send-off, but their message was, we are not done, and paint the town, Indy, orange and blue. And that fun from Champaign translating over here into Indianapolis.
No doubt.
Players wrapping up their practices, their first 2 practices before tip-off against UConn on Saturday night, and a lot of them never been on a stage this big before.
Yeah, when you go inside the arena, I mean, the basketball, the basketball court compared to the football stadium is just, it looks miniature size, but having these guys have different moments that they cued in on that gave them the clue is like, hey, this is one of the biggest moments of my basketball career. This is one of the biggest moments that I will ever play in. And for a lot of these guys, it's memories that they're going to carry for the rest of their lives as they go on and share this with other teammates in the future, but also their families whenever that may be.
It's really amazing, you know. As soon as we walked in, I got goosebumps immediately, you know, because every sound that you make, it just echoes, and it's really, I have no words.
And they bless us with a whole bunch of gear and stuff and countless things. Like, they're going to let us take all the Final Four stuff home. Like, it's an awesome experience, you know what I mean? Great time to be here for sure.
It's so much fun. I mean, I can't even really put it into incredible words for you guys that are easy to write about. But it's super special and it's super fun to be able to just walk out there and enjoy that moment with your team.
Just goosebumps and chills feeling, you know. I told coaches back then when I played, when I was in Montenegro, I remember that good college games were the ones with the floors lifted and the benches lower. And now I'm there, I'm playing there at the Final Four. So to see how court is small compared to the stands and everything is just crazy.
The Lucas Oil Stadium may be one of the biggest stadiums that the Illini men's basketball team will play in this season, but it's not necessarily one of the most famous. Remember the last time that they played UConn this season in Madison Square Garden, in the Mecca, in New York City, so this team is no stranger to big environments.
No, definitely not at all, and obviously their Final Four matchup is going to be a rematch against UConn on Saturday. Again, a lot of differences for those teams. Back in November, both teams getting used to the roster that they had.
For sure.
A lot of differences now heading into that Final Four game.
Obviously, you know, Keaton's Keaton now, and David is also David now. 2 different type of players. And I just think kind of our flow, our chemistry is now at its best. We're playing our best basketball right now. And defensively, we're a totally different group. Our mental focus and mental preparation has been on a different level. So I think that aspect, as long as we just continue to play like we're playing, I think we get the job done.
I think both teams are very different. You know, Keaton didn't have the same confidence as he does now.
You know, a lot of us were struggling that game just because of different things that were happening, and obviously I didn't play my best, and and different guys had played different minutes. But I think we have an actual identity now, and we're excited to match up against them again. They are too, probably. You know, they've been preparing just as much as we have, so I think both teams are different. Both teams are a lot better.
You heard it right there. This team hungry for another matchup against the Huskies. Now, the last time these two teams played back in November, it was evident that this team was still just rounding into form. One of those key players was Keaton Wagler, and at least at that time, he didn't really see very many minutes. He only saw around 8 minutes in that matchup, scored single digits, hadn't really found his rhythm, but as we've seen over the course of this season, this guy has blossomed into an absolute star. Kylan Boswell had a phenomenal performance in that. Look for his leadership to translate onto the floor inside a huge atmosphere this coming Saturday.
Definitely. We'll have to see who's the more physical team on Saturday, but we're going to send it now into Ben, into the studio. Ben, what do you got for us?
Well, the trip to the Final Four has been a moment Illini fans have been waiting for more than 20 years. From Greenville and Houston to Champaign-Urbana, it's apparent Illini Nation is excited for the trip to Indy. U of I students taking to the streets, celebrating, gathering around the Alma statue for several hours after punching their ticket. Sunday afternoon, hundreds were at the airport too as the team returned home.
I think this might be our year.
We both transferred here. This is the first time we're in the Elite Eight, let alone getting into the Final Four. So we're hyped. Yeah. We wouldn't want to be anywhere else except for here.
Well, we saw it on the schedule. We obviously were cautiously optimistic, and we really wanted it to happen. It's been amazing that they've been dominant. That game against Houston was incredible. So it's been worth the wait, and we're glad they're here, and it's been a ton of fun.
Illinois fans, they excel at loyalty. We haven't had the easiest run. Shout out to Josh Whitman, Brad Underwood for changing our lives, because when I went to university, I graduated in 18. I don't think we won. We didn't make a tournament from 14 to 18. We were not a very good basketball team. So he's really changed the culture, and I think the loyalty is why people travel.
Now, with the trip to Indy being around 2 hours, fans say, of course, they'll be making the trip to cheer on the team. Stores across the CU hit record sales following the win. Campus Inc. and the NIL store fired up screen printing machines as soon as the game ended on Sunday, and it's been nonstop. One of the shirts even pays homage to the 05 team.
The NCAA eventually retired this design and said that no one could do it because the player's likeness was on there. Well, when NIL passed, the NCAA gave us the ability to do this again. And so we have the Final Four license with the official Final Four insignia and the players on there. And so this is the only piece right now in the market that makes the entire team money that they get to, that we get to sell for the Final Four.
In 2005, the company sold 40,000 shirts in 5 days. It didn't stop at the t-shirts. Businesses across Central Illinois are in the Illini spirit. These are drinks at a Springfield coffee shop, a game day latte, and Orange Crush Lotus. And it's not just a battle on the court. No, Governor Pritzker and Connecticut's Governor Ned Lamont going head-to-head. On X, JB wrote he's ready to bet some Illinois Eli's cheesecake and 17th Street barbecue, while Governor Lamont is putting CT Originals on the line, New Haven Pizza, and Pez Candy. Let's send it back out to Adina and Jake.
Thank you very much, Ben. Well, as we established earlier on, this is the first time in the Final Four for so many of the different players that are on this year's roster, but that's also the case with Brad Underwood. His first chance to go and secure a national championship since becoming the head coach at the University of Illinois. And when you play in the Big Ten Conference, it's expected that you're going to make a deep run, and he's gotten plenty of advice from several different coaches throughout the course of the conference.
That's right. Leading up to this earlier in the week, he talked about how he reached out to a bunch of his friends who have made this run before, including Purdue's Painter, Izzo from Michigan State, and so many more. Here's what he had to say about their advice.
Painter, Altman, Izzo, self. Enjoy it. Said it's crazy. Enjoy it. And they've all had different things that have been very positive, and I've asked a lot of questions on practices to dealing with all the different issues and things that go on and how they did it, and they've all been phenomenal in what their experiences have been. So you take a little bit and try to figure out if it works for our team or not.
And we're just getting started. Coming up, we're going to talk to the European players on how their bond on and off the court is helping them build relationships. Plus, we'll also speak with assistant coach Jeff Alexander on how Illinois is becoming the front runner for international recruiting.
I mean, I can't believe it. I never had a dream school, but like after this, seeing this, like the Illini make it to the Final Four, it's a lifetime experience.
So special. I mean, we aren't even 21, so this is kind of epic. First in our lifetime, so.
Yeah, this is the first time ever, so I'm so excited, yeah. I was born in 2004, so I was only 1 in 2005, but now being able to experience this as an adult and like keep this memory, it's incredible.
Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for sticking with us for Inside the Illini. Off to Indy. We're going to go through so many important moments throughout the course of this season, but one of the most impressive had to be Keaton Walker's 46-point performance inside Mackey Arena against Purdue. It was in the midst of a 12-game win streak, and my goodness, when you watched him pop off the way he did, it was just impressive to watch. Everybody had their jaws on the floor. When you look at that game and the performance that he put on, that brought him not only from conference attention to national attention. It's the most points scored in a road win over a top 10 team in AP poll history. It's also the most that any visiting player has ever scored in Mackey Arena. And if you've been inside West Lafayette's arena at Purdue University, you know that black hole of fans is always jumping. So to see the composure by Keaton as a freshman coming in here as a under-recruited player to the University of Illinois, and to be able to have a game like that, just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the players' reactions after that game. They were all just baffled by what they witnessed in there. Obviously, everyone watching that game also baffled. We were at the studio watching it. You were there in person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everyone was just in awe of watching his performance, especially as a freshman on that stage to go into Mackey and just have that kind of a performance. It's one that is going to go down in the history books for sure.
Keaton stands alone as one of the best freshmen in Illini's history, but when you look at the way that this roster is constructed, it's not based around him as a freshman, it's based around the Europeans that they have on the roster and the connection and the relationships that they have.
Yeah, obviously the big storyline coming into this year was all of those European players coming over here. You have Andrei Stojakovic, David Mirkovic, the Ivisic twins, Tommy and Z. You have Mihailo, Tony, all of them playing factors in this roster this year. Obviously, Andre coming off the bench, David being another freshman who is being a key player on the offense, Z and Tommy dominating in the paint all year round. But they say that their relationship on and off the court is what's making this run so fun.
When you to the other side of the world and like having someone that speaks your native language and like that's already had the college experience means a lot. Like it's much easier. Like you feel like a home. And like I was a little boring at the beginning because I was just curious about everything, and they were here already, so they knew a lot. But I mean, they were just so helpful, and like that was a great idea by staff to combine us all here.
David reminds me a lot like my little brother in terms of antics when we're off the court, how we talk to each other, the way we speak to each other. It's a very brotherly bond, and same goes for the rest of the guys, the twins and Mihailo and Tony. It's just the way of living, the way we care for each other. It's different than any other team I've been on. Obviously being on a third team, and it's something that I think that's helped us translate the chemistry on the court, to be honest.
And Illinois can thank Jeff Alexander and Orlando Antigua for getting those European players over to Illinois. They've hit their ground running over in the European countries to get those players over here, but they credit all of their success for being the frontrunners of international recruiting to Brad Underwood.
And I think that's, for the most part, you see the personality off the floor, but then when you get them inside that, that black rectangle, and when it's time for throw that ball up, I think you see the edge, you see the importance of what that game means to all of our guys, not just speaking international, but the edge that you have to bring. And when you cross over into that, that rectangle, the personality is a little different and edgy.
And what do you think makes Illinois so successful in the international recruiting and kind of being, the blueprint for other schools to now kind of follow?
Brad Underwood. Everything that his mind, what he values and allows, and it goes from our player development, our style of play, our medicals, just the pillars that we have and the important things that we value in recruiting, he's a big believer in. So that would be my answer. Brad Underwood is, the guy that has really pushed the needle over there.
Not only was the talent acquisition from the Balkans so impressive, but just the way that this team has bonded collectively and just the relationships that they have has been evident this entire season. If it wasn't for that type of thing, we wouldn't have some of the crazy storylines and the fun stories that we've had throughout the course of this year.
Oh yeah, I mean, Jeff said it in that one-on-one. These are a bunch of characters, but when they get on the court, they obviously focus up. But we've seen it with the water gun celebrations in these first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and it's slick in those locker rooms.
Oh yeah,
too.
It definitely does. But they're joking along with each other, around with each other. It's just been so fun to watch this team come together off and on the court that it's going to be a little sad when this one's over.
Yeah, and they're trying to make Jake Davis an honorary Balkan. So there's so much to get to. There's so much that it has yet to happen with this group. We'll see how they stay in touch even after this season comes to its conclusion. Hopefully it's with a trophy.
Yes.
But this is such a united group. They're as thick as thieves.
Oh, definitely. But we're going to send it back into Ben. Ben, what else do we have coming up?
All right, thanks, guys. Well, you can't celebrate this team without looking back on the historic 2005 run, a team built on grit and determination.
There wasn't so much pressure. It was just trying to live in the moment and be the best that I could be for my teammates and for my coaching staff.
Still ahead on Inside the Illini, off to Indy, we sit down with members of the 05 team. Well, it's easy to get caught up in the hype of this year's team, but you can't celebrate the present without looking back on the past. I met up with members of that star-studded 05 team to find out what sticks out to them about their run to the title game.
It's been a long time since Illinois has seen and felt this. After 21 long years, the Final Four feeling returns to Champaign.
It's not going to be easy, but all it is, it's 2 games, it's 40 minutes. You got to get the first one to get to the second one.
Legends from the 2005 team, like head coach Bruce Weber, Dee Brown, and Roger Powell, being brought back in time.
That trip back from Rosemont, man, to get to Champaign took about 2, 3, 4 hours, seeing the fans hanging over, the viaducts, and when we get back, you got, people waiting up all night for you to show up.
Man, it was unbelievable, man. It was one of those feelings of like, man, we made it. We accomplished something that we set out to do, and it was surreal. It didn't even feel like it was real.
The stories of that team are endless. They were superstars.
Wherever we went, whether it was on campus, whether it was hotels on the road, whether it was restaurants, it didn't matter. That group was swamped by fans, students, as if they were the hottest rock band in the world.
We couldn't really go in the lobby to the hotel, so we spent a lot of time with each other. During that time, probably forced to do it. We'd go out to eat together as a team. We'd go back to the hotel and hang out as a team.
As for the pressure, didn't feel it in the moment.
It was just trying to live in the moment and be the best that I could be. Really trying to bring Illinois to places that it hadn't been before. And for us, we had never been to a national championship game.
The Illini lost a heartbreaker to North Carolina in the title game, and it still stings.
The only thing we didn't get to do was cut down the nets.
That 75-70, that the result of the game is the only thing I wish we could change.
But pulling for their school, their colors, their team, is what they'll be doing Saturday, and hopefully Monday night.
Yeah, you can never take away your alma mater where you played and had so many memories, and so it'd be pretty special, and it'd be pretty cool that I'd be able to be there and witness it.
Now let's see, 2005, if you were on campus then, you're probably in your mid-40s now. So look closely Maybe you'll see yourself. The party then, much like the party we saw on Sunday. Just ask Illini Nation, and they remember that 05 run. Inside the State Farm Center, fans of all generations can look back from the jerseys to the bobbleheads and, of course, the Big Ten trophy. The Illini faithful say the 05 team was different. Now, 21 years later, the makeup of the team has international reach, and Illini historians say one thing remains true, that's the traditions.
It's been 21 years since the last time this team went to the Final Four. The Illinois fan base, especially basketball, is very proud. We have a great tradition here. We've had some great teams. It's really hard to get to the Final Four. This is the third time in my lifetime that we've gotten there.
One other thing, Brown added, this tournament run isn't only good for the program, but the university overall. Well, now we welcome in Mark Tupper for a special edition of Tupper's Take. Mark, we're talking about that 05 team, 21 years since we've had this feeling.
Yeah.
What sticks out to you about that team 2 decades later?
That team was a rock star team, and they had that status all year. They were ranked number 1 almost all year after they beat number 1 Wake Forest early in the year. They won their first 29 games. They lost the regular season finale at Ohio State on a 3-pointer, and then they reset and barreled through the Big Ten tournament, and then whipped into the NCAA tournament and won their first 5, which means they won the game that Illinois will play Saturday.
Yep.
They played Rick Pitino's Louisville team, won by 15, and then they played for the national championship, which was just a crazy feeling, and it was bombs away. That team took 40 threes in the championship game.
Sounds like this year's team.
But they only made 12. And I remember 2 wide open ones at the end that could have made a difference. They both looked on target. They rimmed out, and they lost 75-70.
Speaking of the tournament run that this 05 team made,
Yeah.
it starts with that Arizona game in the Elite Eight, right?
Oh, my
One of the
gosh.
best games ever played.
Almost ended in that game. They're down 15
Yeah.
with 4 minutes to go.
But what about that comeback made that Final Four feel even more special?
Legendary game, Darren Williams, big threes, Luther Head, D. Brown, all those guys making plays. I think most people associated with Illinois basketball would tell you it's the greatest game in the program history.
Heard that a lot the last few days.
And that got them in, and without that, they would never have gotten there.
We talked about how there was a superstar team.
Yes, it was.
Luther Head, Darren Williams, D. Brown. I don't know if we have that this year in just the scale of what those guys are. Can you kind of put that into
fair.
words?
That's very fair. This team is Keaton Wagler and then these other guys.
Yeah.
And that team was 3 superstars and 2 guys that were really popular too, Roger Powell and James Augustine. So this is a little different kind of a team, but the balance of this team is what makes this team, I think, this current team.
How much fun has it been for you this week to just remember 2005?
It's been a lot of fun, but to be honest, Ben, let's get to the game, man.
Let's get to the game. All right, Mark Tupper, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Now here's a look at some of the things happening in pop culture the last time Illinois made it to the Final Four. In 2005, the top song on the charts was We Belong Together by Mariah Carey. The highest grossing movie globally was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The first YouTube video ever was published, and the Xbox launched their newest gaming console, the Xbox 360. Sometimes you need some extra analysis, especially for a weekend as big as this one. Just a few minutes, Adina and Jake welcome in Jeremy Werner of the Illini Inquirer and 24/7 Sports for an in-depth look at what has the Illini clicking and the edge that gives them in Indianapolis.
Let's go, Illini!
Super excited. I mean, we got our heart broken 2 years ago in Boston when we played UConn, so we're looking for that give back.
Welcome back inside. We are joined now by Jeremy Warner of Illini Inquirer. Jeremy, first off, thanks for taking some time to do this. I know it's very busy for everyone right now. Just talk to me. You're an alum of Illinois. How cool has this run been to see them make it to the Final Four for the first time in 21 years?
Well, yeah, just from a personal perspective, I came to the University of Illinois because of their last Final Four run. I was a high school senior at Piatone High School when Darren, and Luther all led Illinois, James Augustine, Roger Powell Jr. as well, to the Final Four. And I didn't think it'd take 21 years to get here, but it's part of why I wanted to go to Illinois, was be a part of something big, cover something big from the journalism perspective. And, you know, since I've been a professional in this business, Illinois has seen some really low points. And to be able to kind of chronicle that journey of what it took to get here has been really, really fun, really, really rewarding. And it's been cool to see a guy like Brad Underwood come in and be the change agent that this program needed, to take it from the depths of his first 2 years, losing 39 games, the most over 2 seasons, to winning Big Ten championships, becoming short in the NCAA tournament, to finally getting a breakthrough this year. And all the changes he's gone through, all the adaptation he's had throughout his career, it's been really cool to see.
And coming into this year, obviously one of the big storylines was the transfer portal, all the Balkan kids coming over. Just how do you think they've kind of revamped this team into what they are this year?
Well, it's been a process, right? I mean, they lose a couple years ago to Houston. They knew they had to get longer and more athletic. They lose a couple years ago to UConn in the Elite Eight. They know that we just need more talent. We need more size. To have this offense that has so many different answers that no matter what, even if they have an off shooting night, they can rebound the heck out of it. They can get to the paint with a guy like Andrei Stojakovic. And it helps when you have a once-in-a-lifetime evaluation of a guy like Keaton Wagler. But the fact that they evaluated that guy and thought he was a good fit, all those things kind of came together this year. It wasn't clean process the entire season. Well, they're peaking in March, and now they hope into April.
No doubt. And talking throughout the course of this season, the talking point about this team was how efficient their offense was. And something that's been very interesting to see is that since, especially in Houston, going up against the Cougars, going up against the Hawkeyes, their defense has been quite the focal point in an area that they've emphasized over the course of the last week.
Yeah, one is they're getting healthier, right? They have Kyle Boswell and Andrei Stojakovic fully healthy, and that's good. I mean, not every team, and even including UConn right now, is not fully healthy. But the biggest thing is I think they realized against Michigan State and Wisconsin and UCLA, our offense by itself can't win because there's going to be moments our shooting doesn't happen. We have to lock in. I think the urgency of the end has really sparked this team to buy into what Cam Crocker and the defensive staff have really put together. And they just knew we have to focus, we have to be consistent for 40 minutes on the defensive end. And now we see what the ceiling of this team is when they put just good, solid effort, intensity on the defensive end, matched with the #1 offense in the country.
Definitely. Now let's focus on that UConn game. Some keys to that game, key players to watch. Who do you need to keep an eye on in this game?
Yeah, I think for UConn, it continues for Illinois, just that intensity defensively. You have to bring it on the glass. Illinois is actually a bigger team than UConn. This is not the same size UConn team we saw 2 years ago, Donovan Clingan, some of the guys they had then. But Taurus Reed is really big, really powerful. If he goes one-on-one against Tommy Ivasic, Tommy's going to have to battle there. But I also think taking care of the ball. This team is taking care of the ball really, really well during the NCAA tournament outside of a few possessions late against Houston. This is going to be a slower paced game, so I think that's going to be really important. And Illinois has a better offense. So if you have more possessions than UConn, you're probably going to be able to win. But for me, it comes down to a lot of toughness because that's what Dan Hurley's program is going to bring. I know a lot of people don't like Dan Hurley, but he's maniacal. And that goes down to his team, and I think you saw that against Duke. They're down 18, 19 points. Didn't matter. You can't be comfortable against this team. You can't think that a game is won because they have Final Four experience, right? They've won 2 national championships, and Dan Hurley's a heck of a coach.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. The fun just getting started here in Indianapolis. Saturday is that big rematch game of the revenge tour for Illinois. We'll be right back after this.
From head coach to father-son duo, Brad Underwood is sharing the sideline with his son. Still ahead on Inside the Illini, off to Indy. We'll show you how it's adding a whole new layer to Illini basketball. And later, we take you inside the locker room as one of the players is asking the hard-hitting questions.
Very exciting day. A chance to be in the Final Four doesn't happen very often.
We're just so proud of these guys. They have fought hard. We've watched them all season. They've just done it all. So we're here to just let them know how much we love them and support them.
for sticking with us, everyone. When looking back at this season, everybody maybe has one or several moments that they can look at that say that this particular campaign for the Illini men's basketball team has been completely unique and special to them. Adina, what might that moment be for you?
I think it is early on in the season before a lot of the injuries and stuff happened, but when they were up at the United Center playing against Alabama, you could kind of just see all of the coaches kind of just looking around, observing all of the orange and blue in the crowd, seeing all of Illini Nation there supporting them. And just, there was one moment where Brad and Tyler both kind of had their arms around each other and just were like soaking it all in as father-son.
Well, that same duo has made this incredible run to the Final Four happen for the Illini men's basketball team. There was a moment even after they clinched that Elite Eight victory over Iowa and were raising the South Regional Trophy that Brad was asked about what it's been like coaching with his son Tyler in a profession that he didn't want his son to get into. He got a little admittedly choked up in that situation. But here's what he had to say.
My wife was better. She raised our kids. I was never home. I was an assistant in Western Illinois, and I was never home. And she's more competitive than I am, but I never coached my kids. I was never around for Tyler. When it came to sports, he did it all on his own. And then to see what he's become as a coach, in a profession I didn't want him to get into. Yeah, that one's pretty special.
Now, Brad did confess that there are certain things that if he could go back in time, he wish he could handle differently, but that's part of the process of just learning and going through life. But he says that given the way that things have panned out, having the opportunity to stand here inside Lucas Oil Stadium with his son on the cusp of trying to win a national championship, he wouldn't change anything for the world.
Yeah, I don't think for him you could write this any better. To be able to do this run with your son, who's leading the offense to one of the best offenses in the country, I don't think, looking back 20 years ago, he would have been like, yeah, this is not going to happen.
100%.
It is here, it is now, and it's amazing to watch this run. So we are now going to send it back into the studio with Ben, who is now joined by our favorite person, Mark Tupper.
Mark Tupper's hanging around. He's back. We're talking about UConn now. National semifinal game. First one Illinois has been in 21 years. We've covered that.
Yep.
What sticks out to you about UConn?
Well, let's face it. They seem to have the secret sauce if they get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to win a national championship for the third time in 4 years. So they've been made for this moment, and they've got the track record to prove it. Really balanced team. What stands out most to me is Terrace Reed.
Yep.
And a kid that started at Michigan, had his career high at Michigan against Illinois with 20 points. And then when Juwan Howard was fired, he left, went into the portal, went to UConn. If you saw the game against Duke, he was the best player on the floor. And Illinois is going to have an answer for him, and I don't think it's an easy problem to solve.
No, he's really been like a man possessed in the NCAA tournament. Yeah. I think the Ivisic twins have to have a great game to have a chance with him playing that well.
Yeah, they're going to really have a problem defending him and keeping him off the glass. He's a guy who can get 20 rebounds. And it's going to be a great matchup. I love the matchup. And they've got problems defending Illinois, too.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be, I think, a really back-and-forth type of game. I just want to ask you about, UConn's been here before. They've got the championship DNA. It's hard to quantify that, but how big of an advantage is that for them?
And they come in with this Coach Hurley swagger and all of his shenanigans, you know. And Brad Underwood has consulted with some of his coaching peers who've been to the Final Four, Tom Izzo, Dana Altman, and asked him, you know, what should we do? What should I do? And I think what they told him is, your team's going to look to you, and you've got to stay loose. You've got to have fun with this. If you're uptight, they're going to see that and feel that, and they're going to play uptight.
Mark, before we get you out of here, got to know, what do you think about Saturday, and who do you think, if they get to Monday night, they'll face?
You know, Saturday, I've asked this team to sort of change their stripes and become better defensively, and for people like Stojakovic to really find his groove, and they've done it.
Yep.
And as a result, you know what? I'm riding these guys. I'm taking them, and then on the other national semifinal game, wow! I mean, that's two titans going at it right there. I'm going to root for Michigan, which is, I don't think I've ever done that, because I'd like to see an all Big Ten final.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see Illinois get a rematch with Michigan because they didn't play their best basketball.
Absolutely. All right, you heard it here first. Mark Tupper riding with the Illini. Let's send it back out to Adina Balthazar and Jake Bedell in Indianapolis, guys.
All right, thanks guys. And Jake, a lot of fun characters and people to cover this season. One of them kind of developing over just last week. And what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so if people know me and follow me on social media, I made a post online on Twitter following the team's departure for Houston of David Mirkovic wearing a cowboy hat. I used AI to take a photo that was already created of him, put him in a cowboy hat, and made a post saying that if he showed up to media availability in that hat, that I would buy his jersey and frame it into my living room. Well, fast forward, and sure enough, we find him after the Elite Eight victory on top of the lockers with the black cowboy hat. He told the story of how Keaton had showed on the post. He had ordered it off of Amazon, and so now I had to follow through with my end of the deal by going to Game Day Spirit in Champaign and picking up a jersey of my own.
Awesome stuff, Jake. And coming up after the break, AJ Red is going to take us inside the locker room. He's asking the hard questions we have all wondered all season long. All of that is coming up after the break.
They get their own stories now. They get their own memories. They're experiencing this Final Four for the first time.
Lifelong Illini fans, season ticket holders. It's been fun to watch Underwood build this team, and so we're following. We're loyal.
Welcome back. We've seen the excitement inside the locker room celebrating their tournament wins. It was evident when we handed the microphone to one of Illinois' own and we got some answers we probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Hello everyone, I'm AJ Red. We're here inside the Illinois basketball locker room and we're going to get to know these guys a little bit today. All right, first I got my guy Blizzy here. Blake, tell us a little bit how it was your first March Madness experience. You got to get out on the court a little bit. How was that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, being able to watch the game and then getting to the end was a very special experience. Especially growing up, I watched March Madness my whole life, so to be able to get on that court was pretty special.
Yes, sir. Got to keep it going. Big Z, I see the shirt you got on, man. What's it like playing with your twin brother out on the same court in March Madness?
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
All right, we'll take it. I'm here with Brandon Lee, number 1. So, Brandon, what's it like being a freshman on this team?
Being a freshman is obviously a little hard because you're not really expecting much things, and you don't know what to expect from your peers. But I think they've been respecting me pretty well. They haven't really made me do any hard tasks, such as carrying their bags or nothing like that. So it's kind of been pretty well.
Oh, here he is. All right, look who we have here. Coach Fletch, you got a moment for us? Coach Fletch. All right, sorry guys, he's a little camera shy. A lot of Illinois fans came out, just tell us a little bit about, your feelings you had yesterday.
Yeah, we appreciate all the fans that came out, obviously. First March Madness game / memory in the books, looking to create many more with this team especially, but yeah, it felt good.
All right.
And we did give our picks at the postseason special. We're going to look back at those. I think I am winning out of the three of us right now with two Final Four picks that I had correctly. I had Illinois and I had Michigan here in Indianapolis. Obviously Gonzaga and Duke for me, not the case so much, but it was a fun pick.
Well, I also had Duke going to the Final Four, and they obviously got snubbed by UConn, putting up that last-second shot to beat them, and that's ultimately who Illinois is going to have. I was bullish about Illinois going into March Madness. Not anymore. I think that they've got all the momentum going in their favor to have a chance to go all the way and win this thing. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, Michigan really saved me here. The Zags, not a good pick. Florida gets bounced by the 9 seed Iowa, and then in the East region, I didn't pick Duke, but I also did not pick UConn. So yeah, 1 for 4, not really great from me.
So I'm going to take the bragging rights out of the three of us then for that.
I suppose.
All right, Ben, who do you have for this week then? Who do you think is going to make it through the Final Four and through to the national championship on Monday?
Okay, so I picked against Illinois, against Houston. I've been asked to continue to pick against them, so I will. I'll pick UConn, and I'll pick Michigan in the national title game. I'll keep Michigan as my national champion.
All right, well, I'm going to be the fan favorite here for Illini Nation. I'm picking Illinois to beat UConn. I think they're going to get that revenge over the Huskies from November. But I'm thinking it's going to be another rematch against Michigan for the national championship.
I have to agree. I think they're going to come out on fire and beat this UConn team in order to get to the national championship. Whether or not they'll beat the Wolverines to be determined.
Yes.
I don't know if I necessarily could. I think that's going to be a little bit of a pick-em.
Yeah.
It's a strong Wolverines team. Maybe give me Illinois on that one.
I think I am too. I'm going all Illinois right now. We are bringing out the blue and orange here in Indianapolis. They are asking for fans also to do that. We are going to be here all weekend as Illinois is here making their run to the national championship. For Ben Mackey in the studio, for Jake Bedell here in Indianapolis, I'm Adina Belster. Have a great weekend and enjoy the madness.